Ladies and gentlemen, Sean McDermott improves to 9-0 after the bye. The Buffalo Bills bounce back in incredible fashion, defeating the Carolina Panthers 40-9. Now, obviously, concerns still exist in a couple of tidbits of this overall team, but I can tell you, as somebody who has been able to sleep on the performance, has been able to look at quite a bit of all 22 tape this morning, a lot of the things that frustrated us about this Buffalo Bills team showed signs of improvement, specifically on the defensive side of the football. And I am so happy to unpack all of that on today's edition of the Don Mafia Report. My good friend Tommy is going to be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. And man, feels good to be a winner, man. It has been a long time. It has been a long 20-plus days since the Buffalo Bills have won a football game. And good God, I'm feeling great, and I sincerely hope that you are as well. Folks, as you're coming in, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. It is the easiest way to show love on this channel. I want to propel this out to the YouTube algorithm so more people can discover and be a part of our live chat community. So hit that thumbs up sign and do not be shy. Roll call in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. What corner of the globe are you currently? Let me know. Do not be shy. I need to go on ahead and give a giant shout out to our good friends over on Sleeper Picks. Folks, I ended up hitting an absolute home run on my player prop parlay for the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers game. I had James Cook going well over 86 all-purpose yards. He smashed that. 212 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. I also had James Cook over half of a touchdown. I also had Rico Dowdle under his specific metrics. And the Buffalo Bills had a day, and your boy walked away a winner on the personal sense. Sleeper is the best player prop platform on the market, guys. They are matching 100% of your first deposit all the way up to $100. And just signing up gets you $20, all right, just for using that link in my description. So go on ahead, show a little bit of love, and download Sleeper and send me your parlays moving forward. Shout out to our friends over at Sleeper for being a proud partner of the show. I'm going ahead and get into this game, baby. I am so excited to unpack this with Tommy once he ends up getting into the building. Dan G. Johnson, he's coming in with a $5 donation. Dan, what's going on? If the Bills keep playing like this, Only Dan's won't make an appearance for a while. Go Bills. Only Dan's has not made an appearance at all so far this season. I'm keeping him in the holster in case it needs to be utilized at any point. Virginia is in the building. Steenburg, New York. Lockport, New York. Matthews, North Carolina. Jason, were you at the game yesterday, man? Toledo, Ohio. Boston, Massachusetts. Go Patriots. Schuyler County, New York is in the building. Bills versus Chiefs. Week 9 is coming. I'm telling you what. South Buffalo, Bradford, Pennsylvania. Sydney, Australia. Buffalo, New York. Oswego, New York is in the building. Chattanooga, 845 Poughkeepsie, New York. Buffalo, New York. Miami, Florida. Go Bills. Good morning, Dan from Dallas, Pennsylvania. DC area, Buffalo. Cook is the MVP. Lancaster, New York. Man, do not be shy, guys. I got to see where everyone's tuning in from. Hurley, New York. Arkansas is in the building. Jacksonville, North Carolina. Columbus, Ohio. South Buffalo. Utica, New York. Man, it feels good to be a winner. Folks, the Buffalo Bills ended up winning this game 40-9. And I got to tell you what, the story of this game clearly was James Cook. He ultimately ended up having one of the best performances I have seen from a running back all season, by the way. Like, you thought that the Bijan Robinson and Derrick Henry game against this Buffalo Bills defense was impressive. James Cook said, hold my beer. I'm about to go on ahead and stretch this field twice in its entirety and really just take advantage and bully a top 10 run defense in the league. On top of that, we ultimately end up seeing the defense with a couple of interesting moves I think that we need to discuss on the channel. They looked night and day better. Don't let anybody take away the fact that, oh my God, you were going up against the Panthers. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that this was going to happen, folks. First off, of course, you have all the doubters coming in saying, oh my God, dude, like Rico Dowdle, and Chuba Hubbard are going to absolutely run all over this defense, man. This game's going to be close. The Bills might lose this. And then, of course, you see the Buffalo Bills go out and put a belt-to-ass performance against this team, and you see people start to come in and say, oh, it's only the Panthers. It's how it is. It's how narratives are spun. But all in all, don't let anyone take this away from you. This team ended up proving and showing significant improvements from earlier in the season, specifically on the run defensive side of the football and also our secondary. So celebrate and get excited, folks. This is a big win. And I feel like a lot of us should feel optimistic about this moving forward. Guys, as you know, it is Victory Monday. And after each and every single game, I welcome my good friend Tommy on from the Mafia Sports Report to unpack this game with me, because there's so much that needs to be uncovered. I'd be terrified if I were to miss something. So that's why I bring on my good friend Tommy each and every single time. Tommy, what is going on with you, my friend? Happy Victory Monday.
Dude, happy Victory Monday, Dan Mitchell. Happy Victory Monday, Bills Mafia. Feels like forever. That feels like such a long time since we have said that. And it really hasn't been. It's been just 2 games, but it feels so damn good. It feels so damn good to finally get that behind us, right? And we've been here before. Like you said it before, right? It's, we know this song and dance, right? We've lost 2 in a row. This isn't anything new. But this year felt a little different to me, and I know you said the same. But this was a great way to end that losing streak. And you know, we put a 40 burger on, right? Like, so
we did.
We dominated, and you know, and that was a great thing to see after the bye week. So I'm happy about that. There's still some things that obviously we need to correct and fix moving forward, but that is how you respond after the bye week, after a few losses.
And so I agree, right? So right before I let you on, I was sort of expressing some frustration because I feel like the entire narrative, and this is mostly coming from opposing fan bases, and some like ultra pessimistic type Bills fans are saying this. It's funny how the narrative went from, oh, and this Panthers team like causes a big challenge for the Buffalo Bills. They might be in trouble. But then as soon as when you ultimately end up seeing 40-9, then the narrative becomes, oh, it's the Panthers and Andy Dalton, man. Let's actually relax. I would argue that I don't think that joy should be taken away from the Buffalo Bills based off of this, because one key weakness, or a lot of key weaknesses that have been attached to Buffalo all season long, showed significant improvements. How do you feel about this? Should Bills fans be excited about this performance, or should we put it, oh, it was the Carolina Panthers and Andy Dalton?
No, you got to be. You got to be, because look, I just said it a second ago. Our you know, this season's been a little rocky, even with some of the wins, and we lost 2 in a row. We needed to see something good out of the bye week, something positive. And look, when people talk about the Panthers and whatever team, I hate that as well. You're hyping them up. They had won, I think, 3 in a row, something like that, heading into that game. Their running backs were on fire, right? I didn't hear any of that noise prior, you know, that, oh, they suck and you should kick their ass. Like, no. I heard that they're a great running team and you guys are going to be in a dogfight and blah, 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 blah. Look, we took care of business, as we should have. Okay, I want to point that out. We should have done exactly what we did, right? Just like we should have beaten the Falcons and the Patriots, but we didn't, and that's all right. It is what it is. You know, you regroup, which we did in the bye week. We corrected shit. Our coaching staff seemed to correct stuff, which I'm sure we'll get into later. And it showed on the field. And it also showed that some of the players that we had gotten back made a difference, and they did.
I know.
So it's a good thing if you're Bills Mafia. Yes, you have to be excited because of the way we responded, the additions, that the guys that came back that made a difference, and the fact that we blew a team out that most people were thinking were going to give us a fight or possibly beat us. So yeah, be excited.
Yeah. So what's frustrating too is that we see Miami go out and put belt to ass on the Atlanta Falcons like this past Sunday. And I get it that Kirk Cousins was out there. He was the QB. But seeing what Miami was able to do to Atlanta, makes me feel a bit better about the loss against Atlanta. Like, you probably would have thought that I would say, oh, this makes me feel worse about the L, like right in Atlanta. But what that tells me was that was truly just a game where Buffalo was not on whatsoever. I know if we were to have a matchup against that said team, I would feel pretty confident of where this team is coming. So I think this win has made me feel a bit more confident about how this team stands from a DNA perspective. I'm not sure about you.
Yes. So I still think, like I said, I still think there's things that we need to correct and fix and possibly, get some trades going on here. There is still some flaws that I see that we definitely need to correct. But yeah, I mean, look, it once again, it tells you what this team's all about, the fight, the understanding of who we are. And you're right about Atlanta's by the way, Atlanta is such a weird team.
It is.
They get blown out by the Panthers 40-0. They beat us. They get blown out by the Dolphins. And they have another earlier loss. Like, they're weird. They're an up and down, scrappy, weird team. So that loss there was just one of those things, man. They caught us on a bad day. And we are weird like that too. We'll lose a game in the past and we don't bounce back. Like, that's why we had those consecutive losses, like multiple seasons. Like, we go in this little funk, right? And then we have to wake the fuck up, right? And now I think ultimately that's what happened, right? We finally got out of the funk, woke up, realized, what the issues were, corrected some of them. And I think Bean will correct the rest, right? But I'm hoping at least. But you saw a lot of corrections in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what, guys? Like, we want to spend the majority of this episode focusing on the positives, because for the past two post-game reactions, Tommy and I focused a hell of a lot of time on the negatives. So I think it's time for us to celebrate. Don't worry, for you pessimists out there foaming at the mouth, looking for something to complain about, that portion of the episode is coming. I promise you that. All right. We're going to tell you some things that hopefully Buffalo can fix as we go into Kansas City, or we welcome Kansas City next week. But I feel like we wouldn't be able to have a stream without giving credit to the player of the damn day. James Cook, 19 rushing attempts, 216 rush yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, we have grown to expect this from James Cook once utilized. Damn, I miss James Cook. I wish that we would have given him a hell of a lot more carries against New England. I wish that we would have given him a hell of a lot more carries against Atlanta. Surprise, surprise, this is what happens when you make James Cook a focal point of this offense. And what makes it even more impressive to me, Tommy, is that this was done against a top 5 run defense in the NFL. All week we were previewing, you know what? Like, this Panthers team is like right in line with the Patriots, who have a very good run defense. But no, the game plan all along was to test this immediately. And I think once Buffalo started getting a taste that Cook is really leveraging the blocking scheme from the offensive line, that became the identity and that became the game script. And we were saying, all right, we are going to utilize James Cook until you stop him. Tommy, I swear, like 70% of all of the rushing attempts were a pitch, like right off to the right side. And they just couldn't stop it. And they just couldn't stop James Cook at all. Hell of a game from RB1. Talk to me.
Dude, I'm eating crow every single game from this guy, because I was not on board with giving him a big contract. I was on board of re-signing him, but not for a massive contract that he wanted. Honestly, right now he's playing above his contract. Okay, the dude is getting better. It seems every game. I see improvement, and I don't even know if he's reached the ceiling. I'll be honest with you. I still think he's gonna get better. His vision has gotten so much better. His contact balance is unreal. His patience has been way better, waiting for the holes to open and then hitting them. And his speed is it's always been there. So the offensive linemen are, you got to give them praise too. They're opening those lines, those holes for him, and he's just executing. But dude, man, he had a monster game against a good run defense, one of the better run defenses in the NFL. So, dude, without James Cook on this offense, normally we'd be sitting here like, dude, without Josh Allen, it's all Josh Allen. I got to say, it's really, I've been saying this team's only going to go as far as Josh Allen would take it. I got to add a James Cook in that as well. This team's only going to go as far as Josh Allen and James Cook can take it. These two are superstars, man, and they are beast. And James Cook is unbelievable this year. I got to give him credit.
So we're going to get to why the Buffalo Bills still need to be targeting a wide receiver at the trade deadline. But I almost ask you this, like, how important is James Cook to this offense? If, for example, Cook were to have, I don't know, like 6 or 7 more carries against, and so I know all the kids are laughing at the 6-7 reference right now. If Cook were to have, 7 to 8 more carries against New England and against the Atlanta Falcons, would we be having an entire different conversation, you think?
I don't know. Like I maybe it's possible. I'll tell you one thing they need to start doing. They haven't really gotten that. The only other thing I'll say that they need to do with James Cook and the other running backs. The other running backs, by the way, have definitely not been playing well. Thank God James Cook is being a monster, because the other two we're not getting a lot from. But I want to see James Cook also involved in the passing game. Like, that's one thing we haven't been doing as well. Like so if you were to ask me in the Atlanta game and the Patriots game, if we were to utilize James Cook more just totally in the offense as a whole, yeah, it could have been different, because we're not getting anything else from the receivers, but we know what James Cook can do with the ball in his hands. So, it could have been different if we also used him in the receiving game, for sure. I don't know about the running game like that. I'm not so sure about. But yeah, we just basically we need to start using him a lot more on this offense until we figure out the passing game.
Where would you rank this guy right now in the first 8 weeks of the NFL season? Because you know what, like, really outside of that skid, like versus New England and versus Atlanta, and I wouldn't even say that he had rough games against either of those defenses. It's just not how the script really played out.
Right.
For some reason, we had to go on ahead and move away from it. In New England, it really didn't make sense. Atlanta made a bit more sense because that's just what the script called for.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo needed to play catch up. But, like, dude has had, like 4 straight 100-yard games in a row. And then he adds up 200 this previous game. Where are you putting him in the conversation for running back rankings in the league right now?
He's second in the league. I mean, he's second in the league in general, right? He's right behind Jonathan Taylor. If you look at the stats, yards, and Taylor has played 8 games. Cook's only played 7. So right now, Taylor is 850 and Cook's 753. And J.K. Dobbins is at 634. So, and all these guys have played 8 games. So, I would say, honestly, right now, Jonathan Taylor is probably the best in the league right now. Yeah. But boy, James Cook is not far behind. So yeah, that's where I got the rankings. I think the stats prove it right there. But yeah, dude, James Cook is just playing out of his mind, and maybe that's why he felt like he wanted that money, right?
Yeah.
He felt like, hey, I'm going to show you, pay me, and I'm going to show you why I was worth exactly what you're going to pay me. And he's showing it. So thank God, because that doesn't always work. That's not always the case, right? And we know this as Bills Mafia. We know we pay players and they underperform. They don't live, they don't live up to the contract. James Cook is living up to his contract and some. So, but yeah, as far as running backs in the league, he's definitely second best right now. And it's not far. They're close. That's a close race.
Now, longevity for me is a lot longer than I think Bills fans are anticipating, because we really only started utilizing him a lot last year. And by a lot, like, that was still flirting with 50% of the carries, right? His snap count is a bit more than it was in 2024, but dating back into college, like, he was your RB2. Like, he was the guy that was exclusively like your pass game weapon. He doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires. I could very well see him. He's 26 years old. He could still, of course, say that he avoids injury. Like, this guy could be this type of production through the remainder of his contract. And that's a rarity when it comes into running back. So Bills fans should be excited.
Absolutely. He's, like you said, in Georgia. But that was like that was the good thing I saw. Why, I was weighing the options and why it made sense or why it didn't make sense to sign James Cook. The one thing was, like you said, he didn't have he had a lot of tread on his tires, right? He wasn't used a lot in Georgia. He wasn't used a lot when he first got here. Under 200 carries, I believe, his first couple seasons. Like, we just didn't really run the ball a lot. And so, yeah, he's young, a lot of tread on the tires. He's improving week to week. So yeah, listen, barring injury, yeah, this could be a guy that gets another big contract after his contract's up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, listen, thank God. So the front office didn't believe what all of us were saying, myself included, that Ray Davis could easily pick up the production that James Cook would have put out there. Thank God he's on our team, especially with some other issues on the offensive side of the football. But again, we're staying positive for at least the beginning of this episode. Big shout out to the damn defense. Man, this Buffalo Bills defense, I have no idea what I was watching, my friends. 9 points to the Carolina Panthers. And you know what, Tommy? I was able to look up some of the all-22, and a lot of things stood out. Like, Bernard was quote-unquote nursing an ankle injury, or he was quote-unquote limited. But I got to tell you what, as far as problems with our defense, and a key contributor to that has been Terrell Bernard, Shaq Thompson played very good. Everyone's talking about AJ Epanessa. I saw your clip with that, and we're going to play once we get to AJ Epanessa. Yeah. Everyone wanted to give credit to AJ Epanessa for blowing up that screen and that interception nearly like pick six. But what people didn't talk about was that Shaq Thompson at the line before that pointed out the exact same play that he knew was coming, alerted AJ Epanessa. Shaq Thompson did well. Had Dorian Williams, Shaq Thompson as your two linebackers for the day. I thought the linebackers did a great job at being able to limit the run. Max Hairston looked great with his 27 snaps already, made a key tackle. Yes, he's undersized, but he's willing to tackle. That's great. And then number two, he's been taking great angles against the run as well. His recovery speed in coverage is absolutely insane. Like, he closes the gap in an absolute instant. Was running stride for stride with whatever wide receiver he was lined up against. Jordan Hancock. How about Jordan Hancock, man, with a touchdown-saving tackle on Rico Dowdle, which could have very well shifted momentum to Carolina all day, mixing in Jordan Hancock with Jordan Poyer. He was running with Jordan Poyer. He was running with Cole Bishop. He was called to be the single high safety in particular sets. He was looking great, even with Ed Oliver leaving with, it's likely, a torn bicep. He's not going to be back until the playoffs. Larry Ogunjobi's presence was felt. Michael Hoecht ended up going out and making a key play, a key force fumble. This defensive line had 7 sacks and was regularly in the backfield against the very good offensive line. All in all, like, this defense has at least seemingly fixed a lot. Perhaps it could have been from Sean McDermott finally admitting that he's been calling plays, dating back to the second half of the Atlanta Falcons game. But bravo. Like, folks that were concerned about, oh my God, we might need a CB2, we might need a safety. Guys, I think that the answers to those defensive woes have been on the roster all along, but they were just dealing with injury and or suspension, and here we are. Hell of a performance by the defense. Need to give them credit. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it kind of shows you too. Like, I know a lot of people don't like veterans. Oh, we're bringing in old guys all the time. But let me tell you something. You have to have some veteran leadership out there, right? Can't have all young dudes. You got to have guys that, like you said, Shaq Thompson out there telling AJ, hey, get hit.
It's coming.
It's coming, right? You need to move over on that. You need to slide over, whatever. Same with Poyer and Hancock, right? I love the fact that McDermott's understanding that, hey, got to get Poyer out there. This guy knows his stuff. He's going to show the young dude how to do it. He's, when there's a mistake made, he's going to come off the field and Poyer's going to let him know. And then also when Poyer's in there, Hancock's going to learn, right? I love that. I hope they keep doing that until Hancock's ready. And then I'm sure McDermott will give him the green light. But I like that for now. I thought Hancock did a really, really good job for a guy that hasn't seen the NFL field yet. This is his first go around, right? First game.
Yeah.
So I thought he did really well. And I hope that, I think we'll continue to see him improve. I thought Hoecht was a beast out there, sack and a half, made some tackles. I mean, the dude was all over the field. And that's really what, why they brought him in. He's a unicorn on defense. He can be everywhere on that line. So he was a great addition. It showed on Sunday. I just thought everybody did, honestly, on defense. I thought everybody, for the most part, did their job. And the one thing I will say that stood out for me in this game compared to previous games was the communication on defense. It wasn't sloppy. It wasn't like, because if you notice in the past games, they were still communicating, and you could tell they were kind of like just not on the same page, and the play was about, they're about to hike the ball on offense. It just seemed like things weren't going good. A lot of miscommunication. And I felt like with Poyer out there, with some veterans out there, Shaq, it just felt smooth. The defense felt like they're ready to go. Boom. There was no, miscommunication. Players were where they're supposed to be. They weren't out of position. So that's a great sign moving forward. And maybe Sean McDermott taking over, which, by the way, no surprise. I've said this many times. He took he called plays he took away from Leslie Frazier at times. Don't be shocked if he's going to do the same thing to Bobby Babbage. And I don't care if he continues to take or whatever he's plans on doing moving forward, because that worked. So, do that.
So I had the theory when the camera never showed Bobby Babbage once during the game up in the box. And then after the game, we hear Sean McDermott say, "Oh, yeah, we've been calling plays together." Give me a break.
Right.
Give me a break. We can give a lot of crap to Sean McDermott for some head coaching gaffes in the past. But one thing I think that we all need to give him credit for is that this guy is a defensive savant. Like, he has regularly been known to get the most out of young players, out of late draft picks. And you were right, dude. Like, I saw competence on the defensive side of the football. Like, yes, like you could say, oh my God, it was Andy Dalton. He had a couple of bad throws, but past couple of losses, you saw several occasions like where the secondary had blown coverage assignments, had guys no idea where they were supposed to be. Like, the shifting of responsibilities in zone coverage was moving beautifully like yesterday. Nobody looked confused, and that was even coming from a rookie in Max Hairston. He didn't even look confused during a lot of it. So whether or not Sean McDermott sort of simplified some of the calls, I'm not sure what we were seeing. This is what I was anticipating from this defense, and I could not be happier.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we would play more Andy Daltons as far as not being mobile. Because, boy, when we got in the backfield, I will say this, he would just freeze. He like a statue back there, and it made life so much easier for our guys once we got, got in the backfield there on him. But, we won't have that luxury against, obviously, like a Patrick Mahomes who moves better in the pocket. But it was great to see they finally got home on a quarterback, because getting pressure, we get pressure. We don't get home, right? Right. So this game we got home, obviously I would say it's a little bit about Andy Dalton and a little bit about our team as well. Right. We did a lot better job of getting pressure, getting there quickly. But yeah, well, next week against the Chiefs, that will be a very interesting game to see if we can create the same pressure and get home a little bit more often against a more mobile quarterback. But I love what I saw for sure. And Andy Dalton's a pro, right? Those mistakes, look, say what you want about him, but our defense played well against a pro who knows what he's doing with the football. So, but yeah, we had some key turnovers in that game, man, too, that led to this as well, because they were driving a few drives. Turnovers killed them, absolutely killed them.
I know. And so tackling was beautifully executed yesterday too. Beautifully executed, right? Like, Sean McDermott, based off of his post-game press conference, I'm not sure about you. Like, some people are like, oh, it was well known that Terrell Bernard was nursing an injury and he was only activated due to injuries. But you got to think, like, he has been one of the worst tacklers on this team. And granted that, like, he's certainly targeted more, like right as far as the run game goes. And plus he's undersized, etc. So obviously he's going to be having some issues against the run. But with this personnel that we rolled out, with how good Max Hairston played, with how good Jordan Hancock played, would you see a world where this personnel remains consistent throughout the remainder of the season? Like, starting Shaq Thompson and Dorian Williams out there, or starting Shaq and Milano, say that he comes back, starting Hancock as your safety next to Cole Bishop, starting Max Hairston, completely taking away all reps from Trey White. Is this the recipe for the Buffalo Bills defense moving forward, in your opinion?
Not at a whole. I think Hairston, if he continues to improve, the Chiefs game is going to be a test for him, right? I think that's the game where McDermott's going to know what he got in Hairston. Because he's going to make some mistakes in that game, and we're going to obviously we have to understand that. But if he looks like he's taking a step forward, or he played pretty good football out there, then there's your answer. Hairston will probably wind up just taking over that role, and he should, especially if he has a good game against the Chiefs. I don't know about Shaq Thompson as a full-time role. I'm not sure about that. We'll see what happens when Milano gets back, and I still think it's Milano Bernard if they're both healthy. That's your best two to roll out there. When healthy, they're good. They're really good. Problem is when healthy, right? That's the key, and they're just never healthy. Both of them always seem to have some type of issue going on, which sucks for us because they're good. I would say the Poyer and Hancock thing is interesting because I'm not sure that's going to be on McDermott. That one there is a I'm curious of what he does moving forward, because I think he really loves Poyer. I think he loves what he brings to the table, the leadership, knowing the defense, him communicating really, really well. You got to remember he's still back there with a young Cole Bishop, who's getting better, by the way, as the season goes on. But you can't replace that leadership. You know what I'm saying, with a young guy that really hasn't seen a lot of action in Hancock. So I still think that's gonna. I'm curious what he does there. I think you'll still see a little bit of rotating going on. I think Rapp is, even though he's on IR, I don't know if even when he comes back, I don't think he gets that job back. I just don't. I could see Rapp going in the box a little bit. Now he did that in LA, and he did it very well in LA. He's a good tackler. You put him down in the box, I could see that. He did that in LA. So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, we'll see. Ed Oliver, that injury, it's something that we need to, pay attention to. Obviously Walker has been
really great.
Good. He's been really, really good. Thank God we drafted him. Another player that I was like, right when we drafted him, I wanted a true one tech, but hey, dude, that guy is proving some of the doubters wrong.
Yeah. So like he's playing well at the one tech position when he's called to play that responsibility. Like he's like, some people might come out and say, oh no, like he was a pass rushing guy, but like when he's asked to line up outside of the shoulder of the center as the one tech responsibility, he's doing well. Dude. Yeah, like he's gobbling up the run.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't complain. I can't complain right now what I'm seeing from Walker. Like I said, the question is, how long's Ed Oliver out for? It seems like it's going to be a little while. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. They haven't said it yet, but anytime a guy's going to sling that fast on the sideline, it's never good.
Well, let me tell you what, Tommy.
Yeah.
Per 2 minutes ago.
Here
it's official. It's official. Per Adam Schefter, Bills fear that standout defensive tackle Ed Oliver tore his bicep and will be sidelined indefinitely, per sources. Oliver is undergoing an MRI to confirm the injury.
There you go. So not good, folks. So, but hey, I will say this: it happened before the trade deadline. All right, there's some free agents out there as well. I know you guys hate Wilkins. I get it. I totally understand that. But if he's healthy, there's your replacement. If he's willing to come here and everything's cool, I would definitely 100% do it. I know you guys are like, oh, Tommy, you're an idiot. Listen, he's a really good football player. If he's willing to come here on a 1-year deal, he's healthy, he could be there's your fill-in. Now, if he's
For
not
me,
the guy, I'm sure they could trade. Go ahead. Sorry, Dan.
For me, I also like Calais Campbell out of Arizona.
Campbell. Yes. Bro, Dan. Yes. I would take him as well. Either way.
He's old, but he's effective, dude. He's old, but he's effective.
I don't care about his age. He's like George Foreman out there. That dude's still rocking people, right? So 100%. Campbell, yes. 1-year deal. Come on board, man. We have no problem with veteran guys. And you know what? The difference between him and some of the guys we signed that don't do shit, that guy does stuff. So 100%. I'm on board with that too, Dan.
So reminder as well, folks, like some of us are talking about Christian Wilkins. Like he was still technically hurt, like towards the beginning of the season. Right. So like who knows where he is during his rehab portion. I feel like Calais Campbell would make a bit more sense. And you got to remember, like we have $2.7 million to spend. So like we can't go out and like absorb a crazy contract right now. With Calais had a 1-year deal, I think, when he signed with Arizona. It's clear that so the Cardinals are probably going to be sellers at the deadline. So Calais like makes a lot of sense.
He does
for all of us here.
He does. Absolutely. I was just bringing up Wilkins as saying if he was healthy, I do think that guy would sign a cheap deal as a prove-it deal to make because if even if it's not us, I'm just throwing this out there. Even if Wilkins signed with anybody, right, and then he has a really good rest of the season, and no bad things coming out of the locker room, he's going to get a contract somewhere else. Someone's going to pay him, on a 3-4 year deal. So I think he would take a cheap deal somewhere. But like you said, I have no idea about his injury or his rehab. He could not even be ready for football. So you're right. The Campbell thing makes more sense. He's ready to go. He's also played. He's been playing all year long on top of that, right? And that makes a difference as well. So, yeah, Dan, I'm totally with you on the Campbell thing. I think I will pull the trigger if I was, Brandon Beane on that one, if he's available.
Dude, you know what, man? Like, you sent me over a clip earlier today.
I did.
And I thought this was like a live game reaction or something along those lines, but like you had a dream. And let's let people know about your dream right here.
Find out. I had a weird dream last night. AJ Epanessa was like a monster today. Like he had sacks, he had interception. Like, I don't know why the fuck out of all the players. And I very rarely dream about Buffalo Bills football. I got to be honest with you. I love my team, but I couldn't tell you the last one except for last night, where I actually was thinking about or dreaming about a game. And AJ Epanessa, all the players that I could have dreamed about playing well in this game was AJ Epanessa. It couldn't have been Josh Allen or James Cook or Khalil Shakir. AJ Epanessa. All right, hey, maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign. So, guys, remember this. If AJ Epanessa has a beast of a game today, right, then maybe my dreams were telling me something. But I swear to God, guys, I had a dream that he had a sack and interception. It was a tipped interception and a sack. Like he had like just a monster of a game. So wow, right?
AJ Epanessa, dude, listen. Please let us know what you dream about this Kansas City Chiefs matchup coming up. I mean, dude, it looks like God's telling you what's happening in Bills games from now on, brother.
Yeah, that was, dude, it was odd, bro. It was so odd. I woke up, I'm like, like, why the hell did I have a dream about that? And I had to say it in the pregame. I'm like, of all people, man. And then I see I'm watching the game, tipped interception. I'm like, dude, I text my co-host. I'm like, this is fucking nuts.
Dude, this is insane. You had AJ Epanessa just going off. All right, we have a couple of super chats here. Let's go ahead and knock it out. Dan, I'm from New York. I got tickets to see a home game in the new stadium. Hope to see you there. My man, dude. Victory Monday. Vibes are high in the chat right now. Richie Fresh, it's simple. Am I happy the Bills blew out the Black Kitties? Yes. Is next week also more of a true test going forward? Also, yes. Go Bills, baby. And by the way, guys, look, like people can say that it's the Carolina Panthers. They were a 4-win team, folks. All right. They were a winning organization.
3 in a row as well.
3 in a row. Hot team. Yeah. Hot team right now. So I know it's not the Kansas City Chiefs, folks, but remember they're currently 3rd in the AFC West. Anyway, let's go on ahead and let's unpack what we saw. That was a bit of, I'd say, a frustrating point of the game. For me, it's really not something that I'm completely freaking out about, it was the pass game. And there were several occasions where we saw Josh Allen, like 7 seconds, scrambling. He's running away from pressure. Nobody was open clearly downfield. Unpacking the all-22, it showed in several scenarios. When Buffalo tried any portion of a downfield game, with Carolina had an answer for it and took away all of his options. For me, so I kind of looked at it, and Josh Allen only had 17 attempts all game, right? He had a couple of bad throws here and there, but I wonder if things would have looked a bit different if, for example, the run game was not as effective as it was. Because a lot of the times I think when you go into these games, when you're dominating on the offensive side of the football, or like you're dominating on the run side of the football, you're probably not dialing up or opening up the playbook in the pass game, because why would you, right? Like, why would you, especially if like you're running at will against this offense? But things are still left to be desired. I still think that we do need to be targeting a wide receiver during the trade deadline. I love Brian Thomas Jr. Since his name has been floating around.
Crazy.
The rightful first-round pick of the Buffalo Bills. We should have got him last year. But hey, maybe the universe can correct itself. Maybe the Olaves of the world. I'm not so much bought in on Shaheed, especially how he played like yesterday. He had an awful game yesterday. But thoughts on this? What did you see from the pass game yesterday, and some potential fixes?
I'm not happy with the pass game. The pass game is still bad. I get listen. I'm all for whatever's working, go with it. The run game was working. I totally get that, but that's not why the passing game was not good. The passing game was not good because there's a few reasons. Look, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's Brady not really understanding the receivers and utilizing them well, or getting them in the right scheme. I also think it's the players. They're just not. Maybe they're just not good enough, right? I don't think they're trash, but I saw multiple times where even on scramble drills, which usually a player gets open, they were locked up, and that should never be the case. There should be somebody getting free. So yeah, we're just not getting anything from our new additions either, and more. Obviously, Curtis Samuel has just been a total bust of a signing, total waste of money, but we're stuck with him. It's just one of those things. Khalil Shakir, I really feel like we should be dialing it more for him, and we're really not. Like, I don't understand that. You know, he is our best target out there. Keon Coleman is just, I don't understand. I don't get it. You know, the one thing I will say that he does very well is the slants, and we just don't do it a lot. And I don't understand why. He's a big slot. He's a big slot, and you should. The thing is, he because of his size, he shadows the defender. It's such a good play for him, and we just don't go to it a lot. So I don't understand that either. But that's all Brady thing. But honestly, at the end of the day, man, I do think we need to get a receiver in here that the defense, like that defenders they have to respect, that defensive coordinators have to respect, and that can get some separation, meaning early separation and beat man coverage. Once you get that opens up the rest for everybody else, right? That's kind of like what Cooper did last year. Not that Cooper was just, oh my God, Cooper's so great. It was the old Cooper, but Cooper still demanded that respect. He still could beat his man. Josh Allen also needs a guy he could trust, man, right? He doesn't. That's the other thing too. I don't know if Josh Allen has chemistry down with any of these guys except for maybe Shakir and Kincaid and Knox. Outside of that, like, who's his go-to? And I keep asking people that. I love Cook and all that, but there's going to be games where we're going to need the passing game to get going. So 3rd and 9, who you got, folks? Who's the go-to?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, so for me, like you said with Amari Cooper, like, he was the one that was able to open up this pass attack where more people were able to be open, right?
Yeah.
I think that guy who is on the roster right now is truly Dalton Kincaid. But Dalton Kincaid only had 22% of the snaps yesterday. He had like 17 snaps, I think, in total, like based off of the snap count by itself. So his oblique was probably still bothering him, right? Like, he had that one play. As far as your man beater, I think that Dalton Kincaid is your answer. When he's healthy, that's when you see like the week 1 fourth quarter against the Baltimore Ravens. The problem is that he is the key piece that opens up everybody else, and that's Dalton Kincaid. I think that is who Josh Allen really feels like he can run the offense through. Hopefully, he's going to be 100% versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and I see a lot of other opportunities opening up for everybody else. It's going to be Shakir. Thank God that the Buffalo Bills didn't target Keon Coleman until we had a 3-score lead on the team. That was my plan all along, Tommy. I was telling people, I'm like, look, if we get Keon Coleman targets, it better be when the Carolina Panthers are in garbage time. It better be when we have a 2 to 3 score lead right before we start knocking the rust off of this young man or experimenting how to get him a part of this offense. But I think a lot of options still exists right now. And then my favorite is this guy. It's Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. From what we understand, per Diana Rossini, it sounds like that Jacksonville is at least open to having conversations about the guy. Now, what he would cost the Bills would be $530,000 against the cap this year and $2.1 million in 2026. He's on his rookie deal. You could still exercise his 5th-year option down the road, but this is bar none the best possible option that we have. Some people might be concerned about his drops. Some people might be concerned that he hears footsteps when he's running crossers up the middle. He's had a weird season. I think a lot of it has to do with Trevor Lawrence's sort of regression in the pass game. He has been very bad as well. Make no mistake about it. But I feel like he's my go-to. I feel like he's send over that 1st-round pick, send over a second maybe, send over Curtis Samuel or Elijah Moore, especially when you see Jackson Hawes has more receptions than Elijah Moore this year, right? Send over a speedster over to Jacksonville, a 1st-round pick, and get this guy in the building because he's the type of guy that is going to open up everybody. And if Dalton Kincaid can't stay consistently healthy, this is going to make sure you avoid sputters in the offense because right now we have one engine in the pass game, and that's Dalton Kincaid, and he's been hurt and for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, you got on that, and you have to have a perimeter as well. Like, yeah, I like Kincaid. I get where you're going with Kincaid, but he hasn't been, relatively healthy throughout his career. Yeah. And you still need a receiver. You still need a go-to receiver. You can't just rely on Kincaid all the time. So I like Brian Thomas. Obviously, I wish we would have traded up for him that year. I don't know how true this is. I get it. It's coming from a reliable source, but it could just be all noise. Man, they would be getting away from him pretty quick. But yeah, if they are taking phone calls, for sure you got to be in on that. For sure. But matter of fact, Brandon Beane should be on the phone with every team right now to see if they're willing to give up certain players. Like, it doesn't hurt to make a phone call. Some teams are willing just to take anything for certain players. So they just want them off their roster. So I would give up a 1st for sure. I'd probably give up a 1st and another pick, maybe a 3rd for this guy, or a 1st and maybe more. They're not going to take Samuel. I don't think anyone's going to take Samuel at this point because he just hasn't done anything, and the contract is super high for a guy that just constantly hurt. So unfortunately, I think we're just stuck with Samuel. And he's going to probably be a healthy scratch if we wind up getting a receiver in a trade. But yeah, I mean, it's odd too. We signed Connerton and we don't even use him. Like, it's another guy that, like, I just don't understand the signing if you're not going to use him. He's kind of a waste of a roster spot. So that's another guy I just don't. They could potentially cut if they wanted to make room for a receiver, and yeah, I don't know, but because it just doesn't make sense. You're gonna he's a waste of a spot. You get what I'm saying? So if you're not going to use him, I mean, my God, they had Keon Coleman returning punts yesterday. So yeah, they did. But yeah, he's one of them. Olave is an interesting one. I wouldn't hate that. Even though Saints are saying they're not going to move on from him. Once again, I don't
buy that for a second.
I don't either. Like, smart GMs do that, by the way, so they can get the price tag higher. They can get people bidding in a bidding war. Jerry Jeudy is also interesting to me. He's a good receiver. I wouldn't hate it either. But obviously there's guys that I would take over him. But yeah, I mean, those are the guys, but I'm sure there's going to be other names floating out there as the deadline creeps up. But I think we need more than just a receiver as well. So very interested to see what they do. If there's multiple trades being done, So that's something that we definitely got to be looking out for, and that's November 4th.
So I'll tell you what, as far as the DNA of the Buffalo Bills passing attack, one offense that it reminds me of as far as how it's structured is the Indianapolis Colts. Like, maybe you can give a little bit of credit over to Michael Pittman, but in my opinion, I think he's just a possession receiver. Like, yeah, he finds his way into the red zone. Great. But how the Colts offensively are stacked up is very similar to what the Buffalo Bills did last year and are trying to do this year. Solid offensive line, top 3 running back, a quarterback that takes care of the football, and really leveraging your tight ends. For example, Tyler Warren has been having an incredible season. He's by far the best tight end that came out of this draft class. The difference between the Colts and the Buffalo Bills offensive passing attack is that Tyler Warren, this offensive line, and the running back room has been utilized each and every single game and has been relatively healthy. But the problem we run into is that we're missing out on our man beater. Like, he's not staying healthy. So if we can add just one more guy that could be a threat out on the perimeter, I really think that this team just steps into a level of dominance that we grew accustomed to seeing last year.
Yeah, I also, like I said too, I go back to Joe Brady, and if you look at, there's a bad stat of Allen like not throwing past 20 yards, and he's like one of the worst right now. I think Andy Dalton has more, but right?
Yeah,
that guys, like, I almost feel like they're handcuffing Allen again a little bit, right, and trying to make him fit in this new offense that they put together. They want him to be to be this balance, which is fine. I don't mind balanced offense, but you can't handcuff Allen at the same time. Like, Allen is a gunslinger. We know it. Listen, this isn't Allen's second, third year. Like, we know what Allen could do. We know Allen can throw it deep. We know Allen can, get the ball in there no matter what, right? Tight spaces, it doesn't matter. But we're not really seeing that this year. Now, that could be a combination of just them saying, no, we don't want you to do that. We don't want to take any chances. That could also be Allen going, oh, man, I just don't trust this guy. But boy, we're not throwing deep at all. We're not giving these guys any chance. So once again, I don't know if that's a combination of everything, or is that just McDermott telling Brady as well, going, hey, this is how I want it. We're not taking chances. We're going to throw everything short. But we'll see. If we get an addition like a Brian Thomas Jr. and we're still dinking and dunking, then that's going to tell me that that's a Brady and McDermott thing. They just do not want to they don't want to take chances downfield. So
they just don't.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because that's not, you're taking away Allen. That's part of Allen's game. Allen, Allen is still, he will always have that mentality. And if you take away some of that, that's kind of like, remember when they started taking away his running back when Dorsey's second year, and that was all McDermott. McDermott told Dorsey, I don't want Allen running. And then remember when they fired Dorsey, McDermott came out and said, you know what, I'm just going to have Allen. Yeah, we're just going to go back to letting Allen be free. And and then Allen took off the very next game. Remember that? So it's like, you can't handcuff him, right? I'm not saying let him go out there and throw a million interceptions and just throw deep all the time, but you also can't restrict him, right? So that's how I feel about that. We'll see what happens if we get a new receiver and things change. But, I want to see a little bit, take a shot a little bit, giving our receivers an opportunity as well.
And that is what I am talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to open up the Garage Beer hotline, but I noticed something. There are 371 of you watching on YouTube right now, and only 140 people have hit the thumbs up sign. So, folks, if you would like me to open up the Garage Beer hotline, I'm going to need this like button directly below the video to turn to at least 250. All right? Within the next 10 minutes, we're going to need 250 thumbs ups hit, so we could start welcoming in some callers on the Garage Beer hotline. It goes a long way because we're trying to recruit as many people into the live chat as humanly possible. So make sure you hit that thumbs up sign, man, and let's get into business. Richie Fresh says, think Gabe Davis is active versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It could help. I'm not entirely sure that he's healthy. I haven't heard that he's healthy yet. I know that he's on the practice squad. But Tommy, while I'm using the restroom, why don't you go on ahead and entertain that question?
No problem. So, guys, like Dan said, I haven't heard anything out of Bill's camp that that Gabe Davis is done with his rehab, because he was rehabbing still. And, but look, if he's ready to go, whenever that is, I'm at this point, if you do not get a receiver, even if you do get a receiver through the trade, I would definitely entertain the idea of bringing Gabe Davis up. It can't hurt. He has chemistry with Josh. He knows the offense. And honestly, guys, name a receiver that's had bigger plays on this team than Gabe Davis has. Like, you can't name him. Gabe Davis was the guy that made the 80-yard touchdown passes from Josh Allen, right? That had those big moments. Now, were they consistent? No, that was the major problem with Gabe Davis. But did he have games way better than any receiver on this team currently? Yeah, you're damn right. So I don't think it's a terrible thing to call up Gabe Davis. I think you have 3 call-ups from practice squad. So before you have to sign him to the 53. So why not? Call him up for a game or two just to see if that chemistry between him and Allen is still there, and big game Gabe can actually have a big game when needed, because that's what he did. Say what you want about him, but when we needed him most, when we needed something to a game for a player to step up, Gabe Davis was our biggest playmaker and the biggest moment where we had an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. So say what you want about him, but the guy does have some games like that. So I don't hate the idea. And just like a lot of you guys were like, oh, Poyer. Listen, Poyer got called up and he's done pretty damn well. So
he has.
So I wouldn't really necessarily, hate it. Now if they don't get a receiver and they're just relying on, then I would say, right. Then that might go. I might not like that. But yeah, dude, I think there's a reason why they signed him. They're clearly waiting for his rehab to stop, and they're going to give him an opportunity. I don't know when, but I think he will be called up eventually, just to see if that connection is still there with Josh. And if it is, why wouldn't you keep him on the team? Curtis Samuel provides nothing. So yeah, 100% bring up Gabe if he's healthy.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Gabe Davis, if he's healthy, he certainly will get his opportunity. Folks, the Garage Beer Hotline is brought to you, of course, by Garage Beer. All right, it's beer, taste, and beer. Next time you're rolling through the grocery store or your local liquor store, I know you've seen a case just chilling in the fridge, and you're like, you know what? I wonder what that's all about. I trust that next time you are out and about, you come home with a nice little case of Garage Beer. Beer, Taste, and Beer, the official partner of the Dom Mafia YouTube channel this year. Now, guys, we have opened up the hotline. I have pinned it at the top of the YouTube chat. Again, I would like to remind everybody that we treat this like a radio station, 20 to 30 seconds. If, for example, we boot you off after 20 to 30 seconds, it's nothing personal. Just know that we're trying to make sure everybody has an opportunity of hopping on and letting their piece be said. Without further ado, we have Dustin is in the building. Dustin, step into the garage, my friend. What's going on?
What's up, boys? How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear. What's up?
Okay, a couple weeks ago, how you fellas doing? A couple weeks ago, I called in, and I just want to praise the Lord. I went on a rant about the tush push, and my heavens, did we actually put it back into play? Thankfully for Deion Dawkins, I think false start on the first 3rd and 1. We got the first down, but it was brought back. Anyway, James Cook could have scored 2 more touchdowns, so he could have went for 216 and 4 touchdowns very easily if we didn't get those 2 QB sneaks. What would have been even a bigger game. I hope Josh Allen is not hurt. I feel that he might be, and we're hiding something. If you watch one of his QB sneak touchdowns, he receives the snap, stands erect as he possibly can, does not lower his shoulders at all, and just waits for Ray Davis, I believe it was, to push him in. Kind of odd. He did not lower his shoulders. Watch that back on the All-22, Dan. I know you've been paying attention to it here lately. Watch that. I don't know if it was the first or the second. It looked like he did not want anything to do with it. I hope he's okay. Lastly, and I'll get out, Michael Hoecht, personal foul for some after the whistle, pushing back and forth. I love it. He plays with an edge. He was a freak. He was a maniac running around the field all day yesterday. I think he plays with an edge. I don't like the penalty, but I love the energy. Get pissed off. Yeah, you want to push somebody after a play once in a while. Okay, have that edge, get someone upset, and show your tenacity. I wasn't upset by the penalty because we have not had a penalty. And did you see Deion Dawkins getting a little scuffle at the end of the game? Anyway, play with an edge. Go back to Bills football. I don't mind it. We don't want horrible penalties, but I love Michael Hoecht, what he did to open up the rest of the guys. I think is a game changer. Love you both. I'll listen to you off the call. Thank you.
Thank Dustin. You, brother. It's the energy that I like. He brings up a couple of interesting points. Is Josh Allen hurt? Right? Is he hurt? Are they brushing something under the rug? Him bringing that up by not getting down and dirty in the pile and just standing completely like a statue waiting for Ray Davis to push him in. Yeah. It is. And you know what? Like some of his throws too, like I'm sitting there being like, dude, what's up with him? Right?
Yeah. The thing with Josh, though, he's always kind of hurt. So,
he's gonna be banged up at least to some extent.
Hurt, I guess is the question, right? Like how severe? And if he's hiding it very well. I mean, that was an odd tush push for sure. I don't know if he did. It was just really weird. I was like, okay, if you want to just go ahead and stand and. That was really weird. The Hoecht thing, I did want to touch on that. The scuffle he got into, little juice still left in him, but I don't mind it. I really don't. The caller's right. Like that's what I've been wanting to see too from this team: a killer instinct, play with some aggression, get pissed off. I don't mind a penalty here and there if that's what it's going to take. The after game with the Deion Dawkins thing, it's whatever. He threw his hat. Like it's not. He's probably going to get fined something stupid, but. No big deal. And honestly, the other guy started talking shit before he, I think he was going around trying to handshake him or something, but who cares about that? It is what it is. Frustrations boil over. I don't think he's going to get suspended or anything like that, but I like it. He's right. The Hoecht brung a little bit of extra juice, brung a little bit of extra aggression, got the team probably more fired up. That's what you need. I feel like we didn't really have that for a little bit. So I'm glad. Hopefully he continues that.
So I got to tell you as well, like a lot of us are concerned about Ed Oliver going down. And I do hope if cap permits that obviously we can go out and grab somebody. Mm-hmm. But we need to remember that like this defensive line has been top 3 in pressure percentage all season long. And we've only had Ed Oliver out there for 2 games and a quarter, like all season.
Yeah,
so
crazy. Yeah.
Michael Hoecht, being added, I feel like we could be okay. Like say for example, that we only have enough money to make a move on a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Then I feel like I still feel comfortable with our current defensive tackles, barring of course that there's no like injury epidemic with Daquan Jones coming back, with the rising of Deion Walker. Hopefully Sanders will be back in some time, like right after his time on the IR. And now with Michael Hoecht too, like just being like your Swiss Army knife. Mm-hmm. And this D-line is for real.
Yeah. I mean, Phillips got a sack yesterday.
He did.
Wild.
Yeah. I mean, it is the last I think we see of Phillips as well. We ended up exhausting his call-ups from the practice squad.
Yeah, that'll probably be his last. But hey, at least he finished with the bang, right? Got a sack for the season. But you're right. I think we'll be all right. I think it sucks for Ed Oliver. He actually he got a sack that game. Like, we were seeing, what we know Ed Oliver can do. But, I think he put on his IG, it's like football this year is like, what did he say? Like oil and water.
Oil and water is what he was saying.
So he's just like, I think he's just down and he understands that it sucks, but NFL, and it's a brutal sport, man. And sometimes things just happen like that. So hopefully he gets back and we get when he returns, we get a healthy Oliver and he stays healthy. But it just seems like we have some bad luck with some of our key players getting hurt, man. Dan, it sucks. But like I said earlier, trade deadline, luckily it came at a good time where if Breen needs to make something happen, like for Campbell, now's your opportunity. Now you understand you need that. Go ahead and make it happen. Do what you got to do. Whatever you got to do to improve this team, now's your opportunity. It's right there. You got to pick up the phone.
Let's pick up the phone, man. We have Steve and Lighted Truths in the building. Steve, what up, man?
Hey, good morning. All right.
Morning.
So first of all, I got to say this is a bittersweet victory Monday because the only thing negative I have to say about the defense is the Ed Oliver injury. That was a high cost for our Bills team, but the win they got. But the defense was outstanding. Epanessa with that takeaway. The takeaways, they won the takeaway battle. They got that back. The way they were pressuring the quarterback for the Panthers and sacked him 7 times. I mean, this team stepped up and showed that they can do what they need to do. And, of course, this coming week, they're going to need to go to a whole new level because they're going against a whole lot better team in the Kansas City Chiefs. And we all know how, Mahomes is so mobile. And I was really encouraged to see Max Hairston with how he kept up with the receivers. So the defense was outstanding. Now, on the offensive side, here's what I got to say. I was listening to Sal Capaccio a little while ago, and he was talking about how everybody's saying we need to go out and get a wide receiver. He said that's easier said than done. In the offseason, that's one thing, but here in the season itself, it's not so easy to do. But here's what I want to say. We do have an answer, and you see Josh yesterday. He was hampered. I heard a caller on Joe and Jeremy's show this morning. He said, well, what McDermott's doing is he's relegated Josh to being a team manager. That's bull. Okay. Josh Allen does not have the weapons he needs, but he does. We've got 3 guys, James Cook, Ty Johnson, and Ray Davis. If you look back in the Kelly years, who was one of the main ones that Kelly went to receiving the ball? Thurman Thomas. He was an all-purpose back. We've got that in James Cook. So, guys, start passing the ball to these guys because they are excellent receivers. 2 weeks ago, Ray Davis scored that 16-yard touchdown against the Falcons. They've got what it takes. So even if we can't get a receiver right now, we've got those 3 guys. It's like a manufacturing plant. They get a high-tech, piece of equipment and then leave it sitting there in wraps. Unwrap that, that weapon you've got in James Cook. He showed yesterday, and I said this, Bills were going to get 35 to 40 points in this game, and they had to give the ball to Cook. So they did that running. Now do it receiving. You do that, and I'm telling you, you're going to see Josh Allen's passing game go up remarkably. And so that's what I think the Bills have to do. And they're going to have to do that against the Kansas City Chiefs because we have got to beat this team and show that we're on our way to Super Bowl 60. So go Bills.
Go Bills, man.
Go Bills.
Shout out Steve. And, so me and Tommy, we were talking about this at the beginning of the show, dude. You know what? Like, incorporate those running backs in the pass game. I'm hoping that Bean's aggressive. I think Bean does make a move for a wide receiver. And so I think somebody comes in. I don't see a world where he just stays quiet at the deadline. There's going to be somebody that's brought in. Now, hopefully, it's a name that excites people. But regardless, I think somebody is coming in and some reinforcements are on the way. I do.
Yeah, and the caller's not wrong. And we said that we were talking about that earlier. Start getting your backs more involved. It worked last year. They're all capable of receiving the ball, being receivers as well, but you need more. Like I said earlier, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, whatever. Who are you going to? Who's your go-to guy, right? Who's the guy that defenses are fearing, right? Like, that's the guy we want, right? That's the guy we need to get. And I do believe it. I do believe Bean won't just sit on his hands. I think you've seen it the last 2 seasons, Dan, that when we needed a position to be filled, meaning when we talk about, man, we have to have, we're struggling in this department. We need a certain player, right, to fill that position. He went out and got it. So if you look back, Rasul Douglas was a guy that we needed, a position need. He went out and traded for him, right? And that year we needed it. We desperately needed a CB2. He went out and he made it happen. Last year, we were struggling in the receiving game. Very similar how we're struggling now. He went out and got Cooper, and it made a difference. Say what you got. Like I said, I keep telling you guys, say what you want because people are like, oh, Cooper was barely used, blah, blah, blah. It made a difference. I don't care how it made a difference, right? But it did. It's not a coincidence. Once again, I don't believe in coincidence. We got a guy, and everything went up. Allen's passing yards went up. His passing yards per throw went up. Points per game went up. Everything went up. So it's not a coincidence. He made whatever happened, whatever he did, it improved the team. And that's all I'm asking for. I think that's what everyone's asking for. Get a guy here that can improve the team, whatever that is, a spark. We need something in that receiving game to give this team a spark. We can't keep on the way it's not going to work, right? Like, so I think Bean understands this. There's no way that he doesn't. There's no way that he's looking at these games, Dan, and going, we're good. Our receiving game, everybody's fine. Like, nothing to see here. So there's no way. There's just, I don't believe it.
So the thing is, too, like, one of the biggest like gripes on Brandon Bean so far was, he didn't target a wide receiver like in the drafts. But like, really, outside of Emeka Egbuka and Tet McMillan, who the Bills had no chance of being able to draft at any point, I feel like a midseason move was the only thing that you could really do to help this passing attack, right? Because like, when you look at players that I liked going into the draft, like Kyle Williams, for example, in the New England Patriots, like, he's hardly implemented at all. There's Jalen Royals from the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, he's like not utilized whatsoever at all. He's still a rookie. I'm willing to forgive. So I'm willing to forgive like Bean not going with a wide receiver early, because like, outside of Emeka and Tet, I don't think that any rookie that we could have brought in like would have put us in a better position. It's always it always had to be a mid-season move or a trade.
Yeah, I agree. I think that where he messed up, where he dropped the ball, was the year prior when we drafted Keon Coleman. There was a lot of
Lad McConkey would have been. Lad would have been different.
Franklin would have been a great addition. Like, there was guys there he still could have gotten. He just chose not to. We only went with one receiver in that draft, which was, I think that a lot of Bills Mafia still like scratching their head on that one, because there was guys to be gotten. But this year, I think he thought the additions with Palmer and then Elijah Moore after the whole radio call thing, which was already in effect. But I think he thought that these additions were fine. Like, Palmer would be your separator. All right, that creates, there goes that problem. Elijah Moore, there's your speed, and it just hasn't worked out. And then I think he also thought maybe, Curtis Samuel will be healthy. So, I get it. And I'll be honest with you, going into the season, I was still like, hey, pretty well-rounded receiving group. We got speed now, right? We got size in Coleman. We got a separator in Palmer, and it just hasn't worked out. So it is what it is, right? It's okay. Now it's not working. Go out and get a guy that can make it work. That's all. And then maybe these guys will start improving as well. We saw Keon Coleman. A great example was last year when Keon Coleman was struggling out the gate, Dan. When we got what's his name? God, what was his name? Receiver Cooper. When we brought in Cooper, Keon Coleman had his best game that season, over 100 yards right away. So it helped out. It will help out the rest of the receiving room when you got a guy that demands that respect from defenses, right? That get doubled, all that stuff. It opens up the field for everyone else. Now you could do the everybody eats. Now that will start working more. Outside of that, if you don't have that guy, Dan, and you don't have the offensive coordinator like an Andy Reid that can make these receivers better than what they are, it won't work. It simply won't work. Because I keep saying, if you throw this group, Dan, and put it on the Kansas City Chiefs, I promise you they're fine. Andy Reid's going to know where to put Moore. He's going to know where to put Curtis Samuel. He's going to know how to use Palmer the right way. He's going to know where to put Keon Coleman. I don't think Brady, that's not what Brady does well. It's showing. It's a matter of fact, it's showing 2 seasons in a row, Dan, where we're giving him a bunch of receivers going, work with these guys. Go ahead and show us what you can do. We've made a trade already for Cooper the first year.
Yeah.
So how well did that work out? You know what I mean? And we're already talking about getting a receiver this year. So clearly the guys that we're throwing at him going, hey, you want everybody eats? Well, here they are. And he's just not making it work. So if he can't make it work, go and bring somebody else in here that is a number one, or at least a guy that could beat man. And then that's it. And we'll see what happens from there. But Brady's just not there yet. as an OC to make average look good.
Exactly. And folks, I understand that Keon Coleman is public enemy number 1 when it comes into this offense. However, he could turn things around. And maybe I'm just saying that because this is this week's giveaway. But I'm giving away a signed Keon Coleman mini helmet. If, for example, you would like to add this to your collection or be eligible for this giveaway, you guys need to be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. That is first and foremost. And you need to be present during next Monday's post-game reaction. I got some feedback from some fans yesterday during my live play-by-play saying, Dan, like, what if one of these things goes to a non-Bills fan? I said, you know what? That makes sense. So now I'm going to be announcing the winner next time Tommy and I are together. Sign Keon Coleman helmet. You must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel in order to be eligible, and you got to be present during our post-game reaction to the Kansas City Chiefs game next Monday. All right. So keep that up. And we're going to be going on ahead. I am Bills Mafia Santa Claus this year, folks. That much I can tell you. All right. How about a new caller right now, dude? We got Dante's in the building. Clay, what's going on, man? You've been wanting to come on here for a minute. What's up?
You already know what's going on.
Hey, man, living the dream. What's going on?
Doing good, man. Yeah, nice to see both of you guys.
Thank you.
I was happy with the result, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 reinforcements worked out. Ogunjobi, Maxwell, and Hoecht. It's like the only thing we need now is a number 1 receiver. Even Davis didn't look too bad. Ray Davis didn't look. He came into the mix yesterday. I was happy to see him. I know he's been on milk cartons all season for the most part.
Yeah.
So on a scale of between 1 to 10, like how do you rate Beans? How should I put it? How you think Beans gonna make a trade? Between a scale of between 1 to 10, how likely? How likely he's going to make a trade for a receiver?
Well, for me, Tommy, I got it out of 10, right? And so I have it out of 10. Now, like, who is that receiver going to be? And so I think that is going to be a different conversation. But like, he's shown for the past 2 years when Buffalo has a glaring hole, like Tommy just went into, like being like he addresses it. Like, what 2 years ago was Rasul Douglas. Last year was Amari Cooper when that was the glaring need. But the question now becomes, and by the way, Clay, we appreciate the call, man. You're the man on this one. It's going to be a conversation of, can we get some fireworks and bring in Brian Thomas Jr., right? Or is this going to be like a Jerry Jeudy? Or is this going to be a Rashid Shaheed adding another wide receiver 2 to the mix? But yes, I do think reinforcements are on the way. But again, you do need to remember that it takes 2 to agree on a trade. It takes 2 to tango to agree.
Right. It takes 2 to tango, and we're not the only one that's probably looking for a receiver as well. There's gonna be bidding wars and all that other stuff. And I will say this about Bean: he's a stickler. He's a tough negotiator when it comes to trades and draft picks, and he
loves those draft picks, man. He loves those picks.
He does not like giving them up. So, but he has in the past. He did for Stephon Diggs. So let's go back in time. He gave up a first for Diggs. So he's willing to do it, right? He just doesn't do it often. But like Dan said, if you're gonna do it, which I believe he will, I'm gonna go with Dan and say at least a 10. Yeah, I'll go 10. Very likely he trades for a receiver. Make it count. If you're gonna go all in, go all the fuck in, and get the best available that you can get. And who cares about a first round pick? It's going to be late first round, so it's borderline second round pick, anyways. So it does. I mean, we haven't been scoring on our first round pick. So what does it really matter when you got a guy like that? Right? Who cares? Now you know you got a guy with talent. You don't need to guess in the first round, like late in the first round. Go make it happen. So yeah, I'm gonna go, man. Just the way this receivers room's been so clunky and not good at all, and we're going in week 9. This is not a guessing. This is not a wait and see anymore. This is a problem. So he needs to address it. And
so especially with Brian Thomas Jr., like, I'm fine with walking away like with a first for him, because number one, he's second year into his rookie contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to have some cheap help of a guy that has proven that he could be one of the NFL's best. We still have a 5th-year option on top of that. Like look at it as if like we get Brian Thomas Jr., that he was our first-round pick 2 years ago. That's how I think we need to look at it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. You're trading. Yeah, and even if you give up a first round, you would have done that anyways in the trade process to move up to get him, right? So if you go back in time, more than likely Bean would have gave up his current first to move up in the draft. Same shit. It would be no difference. He's probably going to give up maybe something else additional. Who cares? Give up a first and a third, or give up a first and a fourth, whatever makes it happen, or a player. Give him Elijah Moore. Here, now you have some speed. There you go. It'll make you happy. And a first and Elijah Moore. Whatever you got to do, make it work. But yeah, that's how I see it. But I don't think he should stop at one trade. I'll be honest with you. If you can go out and get a Campbell on top of that, if you could squeeze that one in as well, go ahead and do it. Whatever needs to be done, and you're able to do it. Right? It fits in the cap. It makes sense for this team. If you really want to make a Super Bowl run, go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying sell everything, but yeah, like let's better the team while you have the opportunity to.
That's a beautiful thing. We got DTN in the building. What's going on, DTN?
What up, boys? This is my first time talking to you, Tommy. So great to meet you.
What up, man? Yeah.
So I just received some news per Adam Schefter, and I don't know if you want to touch on this, and then I'll ask another question. That Ed Oliver has just tore his bicep, and now he's out for the season. So I don't know if this will affect the defensive line going to the rest of the season. And two, I know that you guys were briefly talking about wide receiver, but I want to, if we were like to turn back to the previous offseason, what would have happened if the Bills were to re-sign your boy Mac Hollins? Because yesterday, Mac Hollins just had an impressive game against the Browns. So that's what I want to know.
Great question. Dan, we appreciate the call. He's a Patriots fan, by the way. And so I enjoy his calls. So for me, for Ed Oliver, man, like, yes, like he elevates this defensive line to like a whole new height, right? But again, we've only seen him for 2 games and a quarter, and Buffalo has still been able to maintain top 3 in pressure percentage, like so far this season. So I think as far as getting to the quarterback, I don't really see a significant drop off. Like we're certainly going to miss Ed Oliver from the interior, but stats don't show that we should be as concerned from that like metric. And then number 3, like he's a 3 tech, like he's a true pass rushing type defensive tackle. He's not your kind of guy that is going to make your run defense completely crumble because he's no longer out there. So while it sucks, he's not going to be out on the defensive line. And while I know that him being there would make us better, it's not as significant of a drop off as I think people are assuming. But just cross our fingers and hope that we can stay healthy for the rest of the year, literally everywhere else.
Yeah, I'm with you. It sucks losing a guy like that. Really good player, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll figure it out. We have enough depth. Does Bean make a move? We'll find out. But we have guys that could fill in. I think it'll be all right as far as that Oliver. It sucks, though. It does suck losing a guy like that, but we got guys that could fill in. We'll be all right.
Yeah. So as far as Mac Hollins, for me, I don't think that Buffalo would be in a different conversation if he was still on this team, right? Like Mac, like yes, like I love his personality, and so I love his Halloween costumes. I love his different outfits each and every single week. Like great, like he was good for the culture. But like he's the type of guy that is like your solid like wide receiver 3 option, that his production is based off of who else is out there on the field with him. Right? Yeah. So like you notice that Mac Hollins started opening up once Amari Cooper was on this team, right? Like that's when Mac Hollins really started having his way because defensive coordinators needed to plan. So Mac Hollins, he takes advantage of defensive coordinators focusing elsewhere. Like on the Patriots, for example, you have Diggs out there and the defensive coordinators are trying to put answers for him, which create opportunities for players like Mac.
Yeah, he's closer to a 4. I'll be honest with you. He's a really good special teams player. I feel like he's a good locker room guy. You know what I mean? He gets the team amped up. You know what I mean? So I like the dude, but no, he doesn't make any difference. Like he makes it, to be honest with you, he makes zero difference. Matter of fact, you might see Allen going to him more than that, which is not what we wanted last year when he was on the team, right? Like we didn't want Matt Collins leading the team with receptions. That's when we knew we had a problem. That's why we went out and got Cooper, because there was games that Matt Collins was our leading guy with the most targets. Like that can't happen. That shouldn't be. So no, it wouldn't be any difference with Matt Collins here. I like the guy, but there's a reason why he bounces from team to team every year. So he's a one or 2 year guy, and he goes off to the next team and does his thing. So no, we need a guy that is like we had last year when we got Cooper. And obviously I would like a younger version of that. Like it would have been great if we got a young Cooper, right? And kept him here, but that just wasn't the case. We got a guy that was just coming out of his prime, or, and clearly he just, he retired from the NFL. So he was done, right? He gave us his last what he got, whatever was left in his tank, he gave it to us, and that was a wrap. So we need to get a guy in here now. I think the time is now. And I think Bean has to understand with that whole, we don't need a true number one and all that talk. That's not the case. We have to have a one.
Absolutely. And last caller to step into the garage for the day, Dave, the wedding guy. Dave, what up, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How's it going?
Hanging out, trying to. What's going on with you?
Not much. Happy. It's another dub. That was a really good game for obviously a lot of us to see this team kind of get back to what we've known them to be. So two things. First, thank you for taking the suggestion into consideration about the giveaway stuff. I was one of the guys in the super chat doing that yesterday. It just sucks because I want everybody to get a reward, right? But I do feel like there's a lot of people that just hop on the lives just to get a giveaway. And there's guys here every day that we're all here watching you guys because we actually enjoy being here and we're big Bills fans. And there's some haters. We'd hate to go to a hater. But second thing was it's more of a hot take. Just wanted your thoughts on the Chiefs game and should we intentionally lose that game? And I understand why I'm saying it because of the conspiracy behind our preseason and postseason games with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dave, we appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much for tapping in. And Tommy, what do you got on that?
Intentionally lose, but why? What would the purpose be? Intentionally losing? Just curious. Like, what was he going somewhere with that? I'm just curious why. No, you shouldn't ever intentionally lose ever, unless you're tanking, right? And like the Patriots last year should have lost to the Bills to get the one pick. Like they should have intentionally lost. They're like, that makes sense, but no, the Bills should not, especially now, right? Being behind the Chiefs in the AFC East. I don't want to lose any more games, to be honest with you, moving forward, especially to the Chiefs. Like this is a game where I'll be honest with you, Dan. Here it is. Here's the game. Here's the playoff kind of moment game. These are the teams you're going to see. This is going to say a lot about where this team is, right? Even with the loss, let's say we lose to the Chiefs, but we give a dogfight. It's a dogfight. I'll be upset, of course, we lost, but at least I'll know, hey, we're right there. We're still right there with the best, right? But if we get dog walk, right, boy, oh boy, right? Like we got some work to do. So I just want to see us go in there, in Buffalo when we play the Chiefs Sunday, and be competitive and hopefully pull out a win. That's all I want to see. And if we lose, at least make it a dogfight. That's all I want. But no, to intentionally lose, no, God, no. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose any game coming up, especially the Chiefs.
So I joke around with King Jamie all the time. I say, you know what? It's your turn to win the regular season, and we will win in the playoffs this time. I don't think it's as easy said and done. And so we joke around a lot on this channel saying that that's like sort of how things play out for this team. But like right now where the Chiefs stand, like this one seed is still very much in play, right? And we've seen how well this Kansas City Chiefs team is putting things together on the offensive side of the ball. We need to go out there and we need to win this game, right? luckily, when it comes into the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs matchups, you always see the best version of the Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like you see the best version of this team each and every single time. And as far as a team that struggles against the run, this is one of them. So the Kansas City Chiefs struggle against the run as well. So very excited. Very, very excited to see what happens. We have King Jamie. From a Chiefs fan, it is nice to see the Bills feel out a team in the beginning of a game and get them used to what they think works, then adjust at halftime and work their asses over. It's what we do. I love it, King Jamie. Yeah, dude, you know.
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened, but Dan is gone. Dan was going to say something very good, and he's gone. Right? There he is.
It wouldn't be a stream without that happening to me, bro. It wouldn't be a stream unless that happened to you, boy. But yeah, dude, you know what? Like, one thing to say about that game is that, like, I did see a consistent team on the defensive side of the football. I did see a team that understood the game script. And for the most part, of course, we could shelf the passing game efficiency. But for any game that we can afford to have a lackluster passing attack, I think this would have been the one, like where James Cook was going on a heater. So I would agree to you.
Yeah.
Look at that, folks. That's going to have to do it for another edition of the Don Mafia Report. Guys, I encourage that you go and subscribe over to Tommy's Mafia Sports Report. Does a great job over on his channel previewing the Buffalo Bills. Apparently, he has a crystal ball because he called the AJ Epanessa dominance game. I look forward to hearing what his vision is for this upcoming week. But, Tommy, what do you got to say to the audience before we let them go?
Nah, hey, guys, I appreciate you guys rocking with me and Dan on these Victory Mondays. They've been a blast. I'm having a great time with Dan, having a great time with you guys in the chat. You guys bring it every single time. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dan, for the opportunity. And, yeah, man, if you guys want to go on over to Mafia Sports Report, show me some love. I appreciate that. We go live tonight, actually, at 10 o'clock, and we're live on Fridays at 8 p.m. So check us out over there. Appreciate you. And once again, Bills Mafia, I love you, and go Bills.
Folks, we appreciate you for tuning in. And, oh, yeah, by the way, so the young man that won the Thurman Thomas helmet yesterday, I still haven't gotten a DM from you. So please reach out so I can send this over to you on Instagram and or Twitter at RealDanMitchell. Find me, my friend, and send me your information. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you soon. Peace.
Go Bills.